I introduce our next speaker, former state senator, Brad Burzynski.
It's a pleasure and an opportunity to be with you today, and I can tell you my take on ag education is going to be a little different from that of the two previous speakers. And you know, the interesting thing is I think that the state of Illinois would benefit as a whole if every legislator had to go through an ag education course. What do you think? Absolutely. And you know, the one thing that I want to make sure you understand today, too, I'm a newly retired legislator, and you're really very brave for having me on the program today because I have a lot to say and not many audiences anymore. So, you know, bear with me. But I'm going to try and move very quickly here today as we talk about ag education. I can tell you that during my 20 years in the Illinois General Assembly, I've had the opportunity and responsibility, and I take that word seriously, responsibility to serve on education committees in both the House and the Senate. And I can tell you that I've observed many of my colleagues as they searched long and hard for the best way on how to achieve the biggest bang for our buck when it comes to education. And when it comes to preparing our high school graduates for life after high school, whether that's at the community college, a university level, or as one of the newest members of our workforce here in Illinois. I can tell you I'm amused, and I'm also somewhat saddened at the debate over some of the things I see in Springfield, and I can say this now that I'm retired, but over changing our mandates on a regular basis. What do we want out of our students? What are our expectations from our schools? And we do that on such a frequent basis that it's a moving target. No one really knows what's expected of them from time to time, except that everybody wants a quality product. But how do we get to that point? That constant change does not bode well for education, because sometimes we as a legislative body really couldn't see the forest for the trees. But I will tell you that I believe that the answer to a lot of our problems here in the state of Illinois, and a lot of the answers to what we expect and want out of education, is right there under our noses. There's a curriculum that helps students understand the lessons learned from the 3 R's. You know what those are, the 3 R's? I've never understood all of them, but reading, writing, and arithmetic. I guess we leave the A off of arithmetic. But the 3 R's, coupled with science, technology, and a better understanding of what's going on around us and of the sciences. It incorporates all these skills into real-life experiences and opportunities that help students become very successful. It helps them hone computer skills. It helps them learn the ins and outs and necessities of keeping adequate and good records. It helps them become better public speakers, develop skills and knowledge of how to conduct meetings, how to participate in the legislative process. And I think importantly, and maybe most importantly, become spokesmen for this industry in which they are participating. Now, if you haven't figured it out by now, I am talking about agricultural education in the state of Illinois, something we can all learn from. The points that I've mentioned are but a few of the valuable tools that students take home from a strong ag curriculum. Students also are taught life skills necessary to be successful in the workplace. They're taught competition. You know, it amazes me, sometimes we think competition's a dirty word. But I don't believe that. I think competition is vital and important to everyone's success. It also teaches time management. It teaches discipline, respect for themselves, and more importantly, respect for others. And I will tell you that these are attributes that are recognized throughout this state and are recognized in the General Assembly and in the state capitol. I can tell you that when we see those blue and gold jackets on Ag Day, that we know who is in town. Legislators, staffers, and even lobbyists, you know, those people that hang around the third rail in the General Assembly or in the state capitol, understand what it is when those blue and gold jackets come to town. And they understand the importance that agriculture has in the state of Illinois. They see the attitude of the students that are here, the enthusiasm, the professionalism, and the pride in what they're doing. And they take note of that. And I'll tell you, it really serves the ag community well. And in fact, I would argue that these students that come to Springfield on Ag Day are probably the best lobbyists that the agricultural community could ever have. So my hats are off to you. I think that when we take a look at ag education, it's something that should really be part of the educational curriculum throughout our schools. It should be replicated, the successes, the basic foundation of what we accomplish in the ag education programs. This will guarantee student success for years to come. Teaching students practical application for the lessons learned certainly will bode well for the state of Illinois. Hopefully, the General Assembly also will look for practical applications and solutions and learn from the great agricultural programs and successes that we've had here in the state of Illinois. You know, as a legislator, and as many of my colleagues understand, agriculture still is the #1 industry in the state. And we need to support that and continue that. You know, before I close, I am no longer in the legislature, and I used to have 3 legislative aides that kept me on the straight and narrow path. Well, about 2.5, 3 weeks ago now, I went out and got one of these new fancy phones, you know, and it's got one of these things on here, and it's called, what's that called? You kids know what it is. Apps, applications. And I thought about this as I was preparing my remarks for this morning, and I thought, you know, what are the applications that we would have and that are important for ag education? And I think that when we take a look at it, if we had apps on our phone for ag education, we'd be talking about careers, vocation. We'd be talking about discipline, public speaking, respect, leadership, production. And I don't mean just necessarily ag production, production from the individuals as a whole. Value added in our curriculums and in our schools, and success. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about those things today. And as a legislature, it's incumbent upon the legislature really to continue funding those programs, finding a way to make sure that these things are replicated and duplicated throughout our agricultural system. But it's also incumbent upon us to make sure that the legislature, the General Assembly, the governor's office understand the importance, the vitality, and the necessity of maintaining these strong curriculums throughout the rest of this century in order to make sure that our state as a whole can be successful and can meet the needs and the major challenges that are ahead of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you again for giving your perspective. We certainly appreciate the support we've got from the Illinois legislature in ag education, and we hope for that continued support in the future. We appreciate you being here again today. So thank you very much. Yep.